In this episode of the Module Project, we're going to align and secure the modules together. So let's go! Hi, I'm Tom Kovichak. We have been working on this module project, and it's kind of a learning experience for both me and you because even though I've done layouts, as you can see back here, I've never done a module before. And so one of the issues is trying to figure out how to keep the modules aligned and secure so they don't move around. Now, in my situation, since I'm older and it's hard for me to get around, I need to be able to move the module out and lift it up so I could work on the bottom of it if I need to do any maintenance on it or when I'm initially building the module. I needed a way to be able to put them back down, keep them in place, and keep everything aligned so all the tracks are aligned and so they don't move apart. So that's what this video is about here. I tell you a little bit later in this video that if you plan on using this method here before you assemble the modules, put all your side pieces together, clamp them together, put them on a drill press, and drill your holes through that way so you could have them aligned perfectly and there's no wobble in the drill bit, because that's the issue that I come across in this video using a drill, trying to drill it, by hand. This is just to show you what possibly can go wrong when you're doing it for the first time. Hopefully you could learn how to do it the correct way by watching this video. So let's go. See, I can move these real easily. So what I need to do is find a way where I can align these to make sure that these are properly aligned like that, and so they don't move apart. And so what I came up with is, because I had some on hand and I just bought some more the other day. Now this is the same thing that you put on your Woodland Scenics Track Cleaner, that little gizmo with the handle on it. This is 3/4 inch CPVC. And the outside diameter on this is just a little bit more than 1/2 inch PVC. And this fits perfectly if you drill a 7/8 inch hole. What I did was I picked that up and I picked up a bag of 10 caps. So what I'll do is I'll glue one on one side and be able to put it in there. And the reason I'm going so big is because I have to be able to see it, feel it, and insert it in the hole and align it up. So being my age and going up underneath there like that to try something smaller than this will be virtually impossible. So I had to go with something big, and that's what I decided to use because I had a piece of this already and it fit pretty well with the bit that I had. So now all I have to do is remove all this right here from the modules, get all this stuff out of the way so I could start working on it. I have all my modules set in place where I want it, and what I had to do was, and I'll show it to you in a minute, I had to screw them all together because I don't have any clamps that are deep enough to span from here, the bottom of this, up to here to clamp them together. So what I had to do was I had to put 2 screws in there. What I'm using is a 3/4 inch CPVC pipe. And why I'm using CPVC and 3/4 inch is it's a little bit thicker than a 1/2 inch PVC pipe by maybe about a 1/16 of an inch. And I would call this a snug fit, not a press fit. So it's pretty tight. And you can see pretty. And what I did was I drilled the hole with a 7/8 inch Forstner bit. And that's what I'll do underneath. I'll go through both panels underneath each 1x4 in 2 separate places over here on this joint right here, and also do the same thing on this joint right here. And that way we'll be able to keep these aligned and tight. And what I'll do is use these caps right here. I'll glue one end of them on and then make it long enough so it will come out on the other end a little bit further than that, so I could just press fit one of the caps on the opposite side. So when I need to take it apart, I'll just slide the loose cap off and then pull the pipe all the way out, and then I'll be able to move the module up wherever I want it. This is the area where I have to drill, and it's kind of hard to get the camera up here and me up here and the drill up here to film what I'm doing. So I'll just show you what it looks like after I'm finished drilling. All holes are drilled. I got 2 on this one here, and here's the other 2 holes, and this is the one that's up against the 2x4. I would suggest, if you are planning on using this method on your modules, to cut the holes in the side pieces before you assemble it. So you could cut it on a drill press with the Forstner bit, because with the drill and drilling on it, your drill is moving a little bit like this, so you're not getting a very straight hole. When you're doing PVC or even CPVC right here, it's the same method to join everything together. I cut off a small piece here. I couldn't find my tubing cutter. Like I said in other videos, you know, I have things scattered all over the place. From when I worked, I must have 6 toolboxes out in the storage area. But anyway, now there's 3 things that you can use on it. I really don't use the primer. There's really no need for it. Really just run the cleaner over it. And let me see if I can get this thing open. The last time I used these cans was when I had to relocate the condensate line on my air conditioner when I took down the wall in the train room. So that might have been about 4 or 5 years ago. So I hope this stuff is still good. I loosen them up with the channel locks, which I always had to do. But okay, but I'm just going to take some cleaner, put it on the inside of the cap, and on the edge. Now you can see it takes off the lettering on there, so you know it's doing a good job on there. I'll let that dry for a few seconds. Get this crap off my hands. Have a rag handy whenever you're doing it. And then put some of the glue on there. And we're just going to put it on the pipe itself, not on the cap. And we're just going to press the cap right into it. And then twist it just a little bit. Okay, make sure it's good and tight. Wipe off the excess right here. Okay, there we go. That's what we're going to start out with right there. And we're going to do 4 of them like that. And what we'll do, I cut this one a little bit long just for the demonstration, but what I'll do is put that in with the one side glued, and the other end is, I'm going to put a cap on it, not glued, so when it's together, that's going to hold the other end in. And what I'll do later on is I'll drill a hole in here so I could put a wire through here, and then so I could pull it out. So it'll make it a little bit easier than trying to pull it out, you know, like this. I'll be able to grab on to a wire and then pull it out like that. So 4 of these and we'll be good to go. What I did here was took a little piece of the sandpaper and ripped off a piece, rolled it up a little bit and put it in the hole up here. I don't know if you can see it right here, but there I have it in this hole right here. Okay, and all I have to do is just go in here and make sure that we have a smooth surface. I have to work on the far end now just to get that thing smoothed out a little bit. So, because I made it all the way through except for maybe, 3/8 or maybe even a 1/4 inch from the end. So I want to make sure that the pipe goes through all the way through. I brought it through from the opposite direction so you can see what it looks like there. It is kind of a snug fit, so I'm going to have to work on it just a little bit more. I'll have to do that with all the holes because no matter which way I put it in, it goes almost all the way to the end, and then I have to twist it and force it through the rest of the way. And I don't want to be doing it like that when I'm moving this and putting it back together. So I'm going to have to widen the hole just a little bit with some sandpaper, or I hate to go in there with a rat tail file to take too much off, but I may have to do that. So we'll see what that looks like. Now this hole here is a good example of the problem you run into when you don't use it on a drill press. You can see the score lines through there, and that's what I have to get out of there. Well, I decided my best bet on this was to use a rat tail file to enlarge the hole. Is that a word? Make the hole bigger. Let me get it up here. But after doing a couple of swipes with the rat tail file, you can see this thing goes in all the way, and it's nice and snug. I could pull it out, just by holding it like this. I didn't have to put any loop or wire on the end of it, but I'm still going to put a wire on the end. So I'll have to do the rest of the holes this way. And it's getting late, and this makes noise, and I just realized that, with all this wood up against the common wall here, that when I'm going like this, they could probably hear that next door really good. And it's already like 8:30 at night, and I think I better quit right now and do the rest of this in the morning. So I'll finish this up in the morning with the rat tail file, and then get this all straightened out here. So let's just pull this one out here, and you can see that goes in there pretty good. Let me get that up there. Okay. That goes in there. That's all the way through. All right. So we got it. The rest of them I'm going to get with the rat tail file in the morning. Now, one last method of holding this into place. Now you can see that I have the center of this T-brace right here lined up with the 2 modules. And remember all those little pieces of scrap wood after cutting everything? Well, some of these, and if they don't line up perfectly, and you could even cut these in half or break them in half, is to now put a bead of glue on here and put them up in here where you need them. I don't know if we can get them over here where you can see it, but you can see that I'm putting it up here so the module will not move on these braces right here. So whenever you bring it back down, you'll be putting them down in between the 2 blocks right here, and that'll hold them in place like that. And all you have to do is put a bead of glue on it and make sure it doesn't seep out over the side where you put too much in, and it's going to glue this to everything also. And just clamp these down while you're doing that, and then you'll be all set with that. So that's the last part of this security part of it so it doesn't move. And like I said before in an earlier version, here's a 1x3 right here, but I made this so, and this one is not, just barely long enough for that, but and it's bent. But anyway, and I'll be able to put 2 on here like this, but that'll keep these cross braces in the proper position when it's finished. And then that way, once you have all this done, if you want to, you can put fascia on here. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to put fascia on there because I'm going to be pulling this out and lifting it up to do stuff on it. That's something that I'll determine at a later time. But that's the last thing that we need to do with this. I'm not going to go through all the process of showing you me filing out all the holes and making all these gizmos right here. But to recap that, I glue the cap on one side and make this just barely long enough to put another cap on the other side, and the other side isn't glued. So when you put this in the hole, you push it all the way through, put the cap on the other side, and that'll keep them from separating this way. And another thing that'll keep it from separating like that is these blocks that I just put on, because they will not move either way. So you have a double security there and alignment. So that's it. After using the rat tail file on all the holes, everything went together smoothly. I drilled the caps so I could put a wire through there so I could, just grab my finger on the wire and pull them out to make it a little bit easier than trying to pull out on the CPVC by itself. So until the next time, we'll see you.